Where's the love for your boy, Calvin? I'm just up. Sorry, I was updating the team name. So now we're watching the meat check versus the Blondiebo Warriors. A Persephone picked up first pick, obviously being one of the prio mages typically. Here, let me update this real quick. That's gonna be Warriors, and then this is versus the. Just call him meat check. There we go. Boom. So a Persephone picked up Thor being hovered, Thor Hercules. So double dive into this Persephone, both of which have the CC immunity. Purse typically valued for the AoE damage on those plants, gaining some of that value, constant poke, constant wave pressure, right? That big ultimate post CC immune ult or post dash, forcing beads, etc. on that dive. I want to see possibly an X ball here, right? X ball ult for this Thor ult. If notably that it is coming, being able to do that, creating some of that lack of vision, possibly giving the team an advantage would be big, or a Chiron, right, for a cleanse. However, a Charon hovered, right? Silence goes really well for that Thor. Make sure he doesn't get that full rail hammer 3 off, right? So get that full Thor combo. Not a bad idea for that silence. Knock up immunity in his dash versus the Hercules pull. However, now you lock that in, they're going to kind of know you have to go that ADC, possible assassin in response. Obviously, getting a prio pick here is not a bad idea at all. I'm not sure I favor it. What do you think of the Chiron pick here versus going an X-Ball or an ADC? Or possibly even an assassin, right? Getting a prio pick.
Charon's fine if it's comfortable. I actually don't like him a ton into those characters, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually what I was going to suggest to pick. Ganesh there.
So a Ganesh picked up instead, right? Not a, obviously a phenomenal pickup. The silence being knocked immune again for those the Hercules pulls. A ton of value seen for this Thor post hammer or post Herc push, being able to drop those that ultimate or possible ultimate across purse ult, standing in the line if they are trapped, don't have beads. Ton of damage here. Love that draft adjustment, if you will. I'm assuming that's going to be an on her, followed up by an X ball ban, right? On the side of the meat check roster.
Yeah, I like the Ganesh a lot more than the Charon because they both kind of do the same thing, except for Ganesh has
Hold on.
like
Are
easier to
they
access.
are they baiting the X ball? They banned Marty versus. Do we know X ball's that? I'm not. Am I missing something? X ball's still up. Why wouldn't that be a prio ban here? They're not. Surely they're not going a 3 fish? Question mark. They picking up themselves? They're talking about something. The Nate Esha. It is that time. I do respect the double dive pick here. I'm a little confused leaving the X Ball open. Obviously, X Ball kind of a ton of value. Obviously, is passive, being one of the top 2 ADCs currently, free power, right? But that ult is going to find huge value into the store. So I'm not thrilled by that. I love this pick. I am a massive fan of Hell. I absolutely adore the utility that this character can go, right? Providing a ton of cleanses, facilitating this double dive, right? In response, ton of healing now on this roster, forcing this other team playing a little bit more passive, rushing, anti-heal, etc. We do love Nat, big Nat supporter.
I
Odin
like the Hell here.
Hubbard.
I like the Hell a lot here for the cleanse for their combo.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm shocked that X ball is left open and not facilitated or picked up. Now we go for that Odin Cage Ganesh ult, Purse ult. This Warriors roster is completely facilitated via their number 4, their ultimates, right? So this is strictly off ults. Once ults are down, they are gonna feel miserable into this team comp with constant poke drive from this meat check roster. I'm not sure. I favor meat check's draft substantially over this Warriors roster as a whole. Do you have a favorite going into this?
Um, The big thing with Blues team is if they don't kill the hell, it's going to be a big problem.
Yep.
Um, I don't know. I personally like Blue team's draft as long as they play it right.
Playing all, yeah, you have to play around those ults.
The hell should have a very hard time playing the game around those two ultimates. If you can get on top of her. If the hell gets fed, the game might just be over early.
The hell is going to be that deciding factor for this meat check roster. Obviously, via Natalie. Obviously, big Nat supporters, right? Like we said earlier. But being able to facilitate her double dive here. Notable to mention this Hercules goes that shell, aka going to be rushing, hopefully, Phantom Shell post first item Thebes. Helping this hell, right? But if he overextends, able to get caught out or just him be the target of all ultimates knowing he doesn't have beads could turn into a little rough. Looks at a double blue buff, electing the Ganesh, throwing him the Ganesh to go for this one. Is that this could be a net big start for the Warriors if able to be secured. And looks like will be. Ganesh not able to get anywhere near for the one, so double blue buff, 2 for 1. Got to be a little careful here. Big pull push by this Hercules, going for the slow from the hell. One a little off the mark. Horn shard pop by Ganesh. Big damage turned onto the hell by this. Oh, that could be another big push pull, and is or pull push onto the T1. That should spell first blood. Able to get the shield. Is it enough? Not enough to survive. First blood going onto this Thor. Not what you want to see, giving him them level 5. What I would have thought was a big start for this Warriors roster, getting a ton of poke, getting 2 buffs for 1. Immediately went really poorly for this Warriors roster, getting pull pushed under tower. The Hercules this week have been phenomenal, getting some of that big value for their team.
I think that first kill might be a borderline disaster to start the game for them.
Yeah.
But luckily enough, the hell didn't get it. But I think that's going to be really problematic for them.
Yeah, I mean, giving this double dive a start, if they're able, this Thor, Hercules are able to be getting a lead, facilitating onto this purse. The purse, if the purse isn't in an even state and is behind, if she's just dead, this double tank doesn't do anything. So they got to be a little conscious and have to play around these ults. Ticked over level 5 for this Purse Ganesh. Odin still not level 5 yet. Obviously getting picked. Checking purple timer. He is alone here. Jumps, I'm sure, going to be forced. Notable, the hell, Wind Sands. I'm assuming going to go into either a Chronos Pender. Possibly, I would like to see a coin here. More so for a double tank. Odin going into Breastplate, first item of that double fizz dive. Looks like the purse is going to elect to go to that Divine. Obviously, getting some of that poke, getting Divine procs onto this Hell Hercules. Notable, Thor is going Transcendence first, going more of that damage versus going Bruiser, right? Getting that mana sustain. Those people that play Thor in chat, getting 2 casts and immediately running out of mana. Thor is up into the air, spelling start of the fight, off the mark with ult. Purse just getting over the rail post jump. Ganesh dashes down. Here's the ultimates. A big Ganesh ult on Purse ultimate line. Big slow. Could this turn into any kind of net win here? Ganesh, the Odin looking for that stun, just no follow-up damage. Connecting the 1. Hell going to be able to sustain the team.
That's why they picked the Hell, is for the cleanse and the Purcell Ganesh combo.
Yeah. No, 100%. A little unfortunate they weren't able to find a net win with those ultimates when they did. Alt immediately used. Is that enough damage? Should prove enough. Planched, good shell on their roster. Hell, finding some of those heals. A ton of poke by the Purse Plants. All that team exceptionally low. Shell was used, making sure that they were able to survive. Unfortunately, just not enough damage. This would get the red on the Persephone. It should be a back for Divine. It is. So first item, Power Spikes. Instead of a Breastplate, going Contagion. Obviously, that tainted contagion, looking for as much anti-heal as possible. I would have liked to see a breastplate just for the cooldown, mainly for the ultimate or just any abilities in general. Looking for that cooldown instead of going for the prioritization on this anti-heal. Like commonly talked about all the time with us, breastplate is probably one of the most OP items. Bolden, would you agree with that currently?
I think it's probably the best item in the game by a long shot right now. I think it's that strong.
Do you think it's the right idea to go the contagion over the breastplate there? Obviously prioritizing that anti-heal into this Hell Hercules.
I don't think so, because if you have breastplate, right, they don't have their phantom shell yet. It gives you a big spike to get your cage up more, which obviously makes it so you can't heal.
And your team's pretty alt heavy, right?
So yeah, so you might. I think their best play would be to get breastplate here and then just use their cage as their fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just have it up more often because it's effectively giving you more anti-heal, right? But...
No, for sure. Purse doing a ton of damage for this Warriors roster, putting in a ton of work with this poke, like we talked about. Real use, but is it able to be a big cleanse by the Hell? Make sure the Thor doesn't have to ult here, but he did use beads. Able to get away. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication, but survives regardless. Thor does have ult here, so this could be a big counter engage. Only one with ult now. There's 2 ults used. Ganesh Purse. Only one with current ultimate up is this Odin. What do you think the win condition? Obviously, I would think meat check is going to be that dive, getting on top of this purse, going for that quick burst once itemization's online. But Warriors, we extending for the purse or for the Hell more so. We were playing very alt heavy or alt centric, right? Is there a target?
Yeah.
Maybe you pick the Herc, maybe Herc or Thor post dash. What are you doing?
Honestly, I think if you can't get on top of the Hell this game, it's going to be kind of hard for you to do a whole lot until the purse gets like 5 items to burst the Thor.
Yeah. So a big...
They are,
Go ahead.
they are trying to kill her in these fights, but they just don't quite have the damage yet.
Just not enough damage by either team. Engage originally started by Odin Cage, Purse ult hit the Hell instead of the Thor, even though Thor ulted, so it wouldn't really mattered. Counter engage made neither team able to confirm anything, waiting for itemization for the most part here. Purse doing a ton of work, doubling anybody's damage on the charts. Going for that push pull. Ganesh able to secure it. Good dash through, confirming the buff and getting the stun on the Hercules, making sure he can't tackle it. So it should result in a 2 buff for 2 buffs, which should be almost dead even, and R almost essentially for both rosters here.
Surprised we're not seeing any breastplates out of the blue team with the double dive. I think it's just like statistically the best option for you.
I mean, I'm surprised on either team, right? You get double dive, the cooldown, best option here, right? But even in response, you're playing into a double fizz, and I don't see a breastplate for the cooldown or anything here, right? On either roster.
I probably wouldn't build it if I'm on red, or if I'm the red team. It's because you're playing into only just an Odin that's not building any damage, right?
Yeah.
But I think the Hell going for Genji's is probably fine. Because she does need MP5 really bad, and extended fights are going to be good for them. And she's into 2 magicals.
That big push pull, a big purse ult into an Odin jump, forcing that purse, and it is enough. A kill on the Hell. Big team fight for this Warriors. Are they able to confirm? Are they able to confirm the double? That's a big start here. Thor is ulting. Gotta be a little conscious. How is he going here? Goes for the purse, forces beads. Ganesh going into silence, stunning. Immediately, really well played. Unfortunately, spells disaster for that Thor. His beads being down, forcing purse beads, but getting Ganesh silent stun, followed by that Persephone damage. T1, a big swing for the Warriors.
And that's what you want to see with their comp, right? They got the hell. They didn't have the shell up, so the fight's going to be really difficult for them to win until she gets her shell.
Yep, 100%. Until she takes over that level 12, she gets a Phantom Shell herself. We do have Phantom Shell on the Hercules now, so that prioritization. Notably, like you'd mentioned, the Odin not building a ton of damage, if at all, quite yet, right? Going a magical defense item on this Hell, offering some of that survivability into this Purse Ganesh ultimates. It's over. It's not over till it's over. Never know. The last set was very back and forth. I'm not counting either team out until we see the game over victory screen or defeat screen at the very end.
I think I'd like to note from the games that I've seen is I think a lot of teams are really struggling to play around this Odin pick in the early game. Because that character is really hard to deal with until you get your Phantom Shells online, which usually for most
they need to be a little bit more aggressive with it. Yeah.
Well, I think they need to play more passive, honestly. They keep getting caught by Cage with no Phantom Shell up on with an immobile character. And then it kind of snowballs the game from that point, right?
Nat carries for sure, for sure. Don't question that at all. Obviously able to facilitate our play a little bit more aggressive, getting that 20% CDR. Thor is up into the air, looking for that red buff. His team nowhere near, though. Big double ultimate, a ton of damage onto this Purse. Able to solo kill that by himself. Should result in a 1-for-1 trade, though. Now that the Purse is dead, this should go really well for this Hell. When you think about the damage isn't there, this Hell should be able to just poke this down. This should go for a net win via meat check.
I think anything you can do to stall this game up to 12 is good. He found the Purse with no beads.
Yep. Yep. Obviously good awareness by the Thor, knowing the beads were down, forcing him himself, even though it spelled his disaster at T1. Now able to go for that solo kill, even amongst the three of them. Big pickup. Like I said, the Warriors here without Purse, this is what I talked about with the comp in general. You're very alt-heavy or alt-centric. It's just that Purse is dead. The two of you get out-traded, honestly, almost in its entirety via this meat check roster. Their win condition for this meat check is killing Persephone as much and as often as possible. The Thor does have Soul Eater going for that ability-based all-in damage, right? Obviously, Soul Eater being that ability-based lifesteal. I'm not hating it. I'm not against that wall, dude. I swear this wall beats me every time. Those that don't know what Soul Eater does, here's your stats.
Notable, the Hell did go into a shell. Looks like she hasn't finished it yet. But...
Yep, T2. Now, Warriors backing should all have second relics here, and do. Curse Dog picked up. Obviously no upgraded relics quite yet on the side of the Warriors. Not against the two frontliners with anti-heal. Obviously going this double contagion, tainted, divine, and a curse lock. Thor is up. This should be the focus of the Purse. Where is he directing it? And does. Good awareness by the Purse. Able to get up. Ultimate use. Net win for the Warriors. Immediately goes into ultimate. Thor is the focus. This is a triple ultimate. Big Ganesh ult across the line. Hell getting that cleanse. Phantom Shell used. Big facilitation by the Hell, getting the Hercules out of trouble. Phantom Shell to get him out of cage. A big pull. Ultimate not resulting in a ton of damage, though. Hammer connecting with the Purse. Big silence. A heavy push. Ganesh 1 would have confirmed the kill on Thor. Aegis forced. Turning into a net win for the Warriors. Just not enough. Relics used on Thor. or Aegis, and big cleanse, double cleanse for the record, getting the Hercules out of that Purse combo, Purse Ganesh alt, and then getting the Thor, cleansing the Thor out of the Ganesh, saved both of those lives. Lone, appreciate the follow. Welcome to the BBC, also known as Big Blondie Crew Joust League. Do a lot more than just the Joust League, but here we are anyway. I like this Heavenly pick, or the Wingblade picked up, or excuse me. Wingblade, when they don't have that Heavenly for this Ganesh alt, obviously this is a cleansing proc. Now that doesn't know, within the 30 units, right, for that slow. If the Thor or anybody is near that Ganesh, but you know how to get that cleanse for that movement speed is going to be kind of big. Love that pickup.
Especially I like it. It's like having a sprint, and they only have 2 slows in their whole team comp, right? So
yeah. Especially when the Phantom Shells have to be in the prioritization here.
Yep.
Ton of damage onto this Thor. Thor ultimately forced. Purse is 3/4. Has to be careful. Immediately runs back to tower. Thor coming back on the Ganesh. Their big cleanse once again by this Hell. However, she was a target. A downtown ultimate by this Purse. Unfortunately, notably, the Purse is nowhere in range. Having to step back due to the Thor ult pressure. Not able to secure that. A big ultimate nonetheless from downtown.
That was Hell's Beads is a notable thing for the next fight as well.
Yeah. No Phantom Shells were used, though, so that is notable as well. So we need to make sure, I think now, knowing the beads are down on the Hell and Thor, if we're able to get on top, get that Ganesh silence right away, and just burst them quickly, without the Hell being able to facilitate this cleanse for this double front line, I think is the should be the focus here. The Phantom Shells are both up, right? So the Odin Cage isn't going to get as much value, so this needs to be the Ganesh kind of facilitating this fight with Purse ult. Looks like they're holding wave, waiting for Ganesh to get here for clearing. Chester is pulled. Thor putting a sentry on blue buff, being able to ult from there. Sentry put down, choke point. They'll be able to pull bull if necessary. I'd like to
fully completed Curse Donk for this next fight as well.
Yeah, fully upgraded Curse for the Ganesh. Not to mention Odin Cage, obviously, the anti-heal on that. Notable, alright, I'm curious, I'm really wondering what your opinion is. That is a Runeforged Odin. What's your opinion on that?
It's an okay item. It's like Joust is all around fighting around one area usually, so it's pretty fine because anybody who gets stunned is just going to take more damage in that area, right? And their whole comp is stun this person into Ganesha Cage, and that's how they kill people. So I think it's actually really smart to pick it up here.
Even though you can't get the glyph because you went the glyph on Pridon?
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, it's just basically you're like effectively sundering them, right? Every time that you throw your 3 at them. And it's been their whole comp is designed to kill one person, right?
No, for sure. It's kind of stalemating. I wanted to see this, knowing beads are down, maybe forcing them with bull pressure, right? However, that puts them into a quarter. I don't know. I mean, neither team have a good bull. Like, they don't have the auto attacker to really force objective. It's just going to come down to a team fight, and I'm wondering, especially with the 2 beads leads they had, Warriors could have forced something or made this meat check roster play out of tower line, allowing them to get relics up and farm this up. Kind of evening the state of the game is exactly playing. It's playing in the favor of meat check.
Yeah, I think the later this game goes, the higher the chances of Thor just killing Purse in one fight.
Yep,
and
considering full damage.
Yep.
So all it's going to take is the relics being down or not having them up, period. This Thor's going to do more and more damage, especially considering itemization. There's the ult. Unfortunately, not able to connect. There's all 3 ults used. Big Ganesh ult. Curse Donk is on all 3. Runeforged proc is down. Purse having to jump back, throwing plants. Thor able to get out. Ton of damage facilitated by this Persephone. Warriors, obviously, notably the more healthier of the two. Pull not able to connect. Sunder used. Thor having to back. Wave nowhere near here, so I don't know if that's really the call you want to make. Hovering on tower line for this Hercules to go for that pull push. Just off the mark. That would have been a big pull onto the Odin. Backs are now going off. Sentry obviously on bull by meat check. Over here.
Red team is really, really struggling to get to this purse. I think she's getting a little bit too much damage off in these fights. I would have liked to see a blink on the Hercules over the Sunder, personally, but it's really difficult for them to force utility off the purse for the Thor to find his way onto her.
Yep. I mean, I know it's not favored, but I think you have to force. You almost have to force bull, right? Meat check can play passively and just wait for itemization, like you mentioned, for this Thor, waiting to get on top of this purse. But if we don't force their hands, they're going to sit and turtle. And we have to force them out of that turtle. Although doing so puts purse in a notably maybe not so comfortable position, right? Where this Thor can just ult in or corridor rail that one of these sections.
Yeah, I think they're just waiting for Herc to force some sort of utility off of the purse, whether or not it's a dash or like you catch the
shall immediately use. Runeforge proc down. Purse did ult. Not thrilled by that ultimate. No follow up really, or any position to really follow up on that. They immediately position for this bull. Now here's that counter engage. You got. I'm not favoring this at all. This is I'm not thrilled about. She's by herself. She is pinged out. Two ults are down. This fight favors meat check heavily. There's the ult. Relics used a little late. Too little, too late, unfortunately. 75% of the health taken down in this purse, just like you said. It comes down to relic usage on that Persephone being a little too late. That should spell T1 for me check. Ton of damage. Hell won just off the mark. The longer and longer this fight goes, will favor meat check heavily. Obviously a 3v2, but the healing sustain on this hell is going to go a big wave toward. He actually up down into that comp. That is just unfortunate. Big cleanse, making sure that he doesn't get stunned under tower. Hercules tanking it up. Purse is up in 4. In the meantime, Hell is tanking this for this Thor. Purse all just caught the wall. Looking for the downtown onto the Hell. Unfortunate ultimate. Ganesh is still alive. Thor goes up. Goes for the dive. Tanking the bird. Both relics used should be death and is. Purse able to survive that. Turns the 1.
I think he was feeling it a little bit too much
there.
But
It was very ambitious. Had both relics, said chuck it in the fuck it bucket, and went in. I mean, so many misplays on both teams. Purse getting those relics off late. 3/4 of your health was already damaged, dealt. Right? Not able to get out of that regardless. Thor beating that to try to chase. Would have been dead no matter what. The Odin up, down, and into that team. Little unfortunate. I wasn't favoring the bull pull, considering they used both Thorol and Purse ult in that corridor, so it wasn't favoring that team fight, pulling that. A little awkward, taken all together. Bull is pulled. I'm going over here real quick to watch. Thor is up. The Bull's not even half health. So the notable thing here, I am not thrilled. Thor's going up. This Purse doesn't have either relic. Immediate ult onto this. That is a big turnaround by the Purse. CC immunity ult. Good Ganesh running back, trying to get that ult. Honestly, I think it would have been a solo kill by this Purse, knowing that ult went up. This is going in favor of Warriors currently. I'm not thrilled that they were pulling Bull in front of the Hercules. I think he just boulders it. I don't think they out secure that without Purse. So sitting there on Bull, maybe that forces the hand, makes them feel a little uncomfortable. But if that Thor actually catches the purse, I think that just spells game 2. Kind of 50-50.
My big thing with red team here is the Thor and the Herc don't seem to be on the same target, which should be the purse, right? Because I need to see some utility forced off. Because if Trill plays the fight correctly, he should kill the Thor almost every time if they both have actives up. Because he will get help from the Ganesh eventually, right?
Yep.
And I think you saw it there. Like, both of them didn't have actives, but as long as Trill knows about it, he can either ult or dash to avoid the ult, and then ult him afterwards, right?
No, 100%. Especially if he does beads down like he does. Without the Hell being there to facilitate ults down, if he doesn't have beads, he's just dead.
Yeah, I don't think the Hell is ever going to get a chance to cleanse the Thor with how these fights are going, because he's just so far up.
Yep.
And the Hell has to live through 2 tanks going on her as well, so...
The purse positioning has been phenomenal. This counter dive, Thor can now go on the purse. Purse being aware for that jump.
Purse needs to stay away from the Herc right now.
There's the beads. Ultimate use. Purse ult just off the mark. Herc is running this down.
Notable that she does have timeline now too, so this is only going to get harder if they do not play together.
Yep. Sunder used on the Herc. Thor hovering for this purse. Plants thrown. Rail just lit off the mark. 2v2 turning. Getting at it. The purse just trying to poke down this Thor from range. Kins is on the Hercules. Almost a big kill. Stun comes through. Hell's going to look for healing. Notable that the Odin did have blink. Could have went for a blink jump. Maybe not able to get that off due to wave. Yeah, obviously the notable mentions alternate timeline, like you'd mentioned, that double dive going to have even more struggle keep burning through that and then confirming the kill after. A Kins on the Hercules, more so facilitating this Hell, trying to auto this double tank down, aka double frontline of this Odin Ganesh. Relic Dagger picked up by, that's 3 glyph items for the record, but only able to buy 1 on the Odin, looking for this facilitating of his double relics, this Sunder Fire Blink. I don't. It's like, this game is so drawn up because neither team can really pull Bull comfortably due to this, and they can't die a bird either. I'm not thrilled by draft. Obviously, notably, Purse putting in a ton of work, damage-wise. I think this is going to come down, like you'd mentioned. I think as soon as this Purse dies, I think the game's just done. She's kind of the lucky lotto number.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the Thor Purse dive, because he keeps going super deep to try to 1v1 the Purse, and I think eventually Thor
will... the Purse all just off the mark. CC immunity no longer. Does have both relics. Dash is used. Got to be really careful. This Thor can now look for all here momentarily. Thor now going to ultimate. Phantom Shell is used. No ultimate's up. Both relics will be used. Good immunity frames on the Purse dash. Now she's stuck due to the Thor rail, but no follow-up quite yet. Double relics on Purse. All ultimates are down. Meat check with pressure. Big damage onto this Purse. Is it just enough? Unfortunately, just healthy enough to walk out here. This is so back and forth. I think the notable thing here now, Odin blinking in for chase. No one there to really confirm that damage. Maybe a misplay. Notable, it's going to come down to Purse relics are down. I want to see that double dive really force the hand on this alternate timeline while relics are down on this Persephone. It's going to be a risky play, but I think that's your win condition.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think Thor can kill him by himself
He
anymore.
needs the
Even
hurt.
even with,
Yeah.
even with no relics, because that character basically kills you, and then Timeline's gonna come back up, and she's gonna be alive because he doesn't have anything after that.
Big play. Half health on the Odin.
I like this play from Thor a lot, just to send it. Unfortunate miss on it, but he actually predicts where the dash is going, which honestly is
There's
pretty
the
good
alternate
too.
timeline force. She comes back up. Does she survive? She survives just long enough to turn that kill.
See, that's exactly what I was saying with the 1v1 on the backline. I don't think Thor can win it because he doesn't have enough damage to kill her through timeline.
And now the timeline's down. Relics are going to be up in 50. Small window. But see, the Thor's down for 40. Warriors have a power play, if you will, and I don't really see them getting much. I would like to see Wave Force and immediately go for Bull, using some of that pressure, possibly getting Bird. But are they going to have enough or have the ability to take that in front of this Hercules? Purse backing. It's going to be a 95-minute match. I guess we'll see. Only time will tell.
I think this is going to be a really difficult game to end for both
Yeah.
teams. Unless Thor or Purse dies cleanly, I don't see anything really happening.
This purse, the purse dying is going to spell the end for the Warriors. But
Yeah,
like
she
you
must have
mentioned, you got to
reacted
burn
okay.
through alternate. You got to, and notable, obviously, selling alternate timeline, getting that timeline proc. She went into breastplate, looking for that glyph. So this might spell that change for this roster.
The best play glyph is, I think it's actually a good idea.
Not having that
Because Thor
cooldown
has
for
growth.
300 plus.
Yeah. I think if she goes the breastplate glyph, that's just probably her most effective defense item and best way to stay alive for the next 6 minutes. Because one death on her is the end of the game at this point.
Yep, 100%. Okay, here comes that bullfight. Purse is alting. Alt not able to grapple
Or hammers.
this
That's not.
Thor.
Oh, I wanted to see them fight that a little bit more.
Yeah,
Thor's not though.
Thor is up. Gets on top of the purse. Relics are up. Both relics now used. Big damage onto this Thor by this Persephone. Is this Herc able to close gaps? She should just walk away for free. We
Should be
get
a full
Bull.
disengage for the team.
Good knock-up immunity via this Ganesh. Oh, we have Bull. Thor is down for 40. I want to see this back and immediately walk down for at least Bird here, surely. Notable, though, Thor, by the time he comes up, this counter engage, the Warriors have to be super careful. Before even doing this, you're going to walk in, you're going to get, you should, when you rephrase that, you should get Bird. The Thor's going to come up with all, and Purse has no relics. So this disengage is going to mean everything for the Warriors and how they play this. If they get a pick, possible end, but if they don't play properly, this could spell the end for the Warriors game in general. There's the Ganesh ult. There's the all-in on top of the hell. Is it enough damage, though? Should spell that. Alternate timeline used. Thor's coming up, though. That's a 2-second timer. He has ult. Shell now used. Should be enough damage. Gets out, and the Hercules is able to solo. I didn't even call that out. Thor still has ult. Hercules able to do all of the work themselves. The hell surviving with alternate timeline through both relics, or one relic, not even both, surviving there should mean game.
He got heavy executioner. Oh, that's funny.
Heavy Exekins by this Hercules just working it down. He said, I'm over this shit, and just sold starter, goes for heavy Exe. Onto this double tank comp. Herc should be able to tank this wave. About to step in. 18 seconds. Pops. Cursed Onk. Trying to trap this hell. It's underused on the Ganesh Pride one proc. Pushes the Ganesh out. This should spell game. And is. GG. Game number 1. Running away with it. Meat check. I'm trolling. Give me a sec, boys. Bolden, what adjustments are you looking for to see for rosters or draft on both sides here? I'm assuming neither, or maybe not the double dive, and then maybe the ADC pick to hopefully facilitate a quicker game.
We could see that. If not, a big thing, in my opinion, with Joust is if you pick two tanks, one of them needs to have threat on the backliner.
Mm-hmm.
Ganesha Odin both don't really do that by themselves. And I would like to see like if they go for the Ganesha early, I'd like to see a character that can more kill a backliner by himself as the warrior pick, right?
Yep. Yeah, I want to see some adjustments. Obviously, the Thor played well, but when that alternate timeline got through it eventually, Herc able to solo that purse meant the game in favor of Michek. It seemed just so coin tossy versus either team really deciding that. Now, Achilles picked up first. Obviously, the thought process here, thinking, hey, I'm going to Achilles, making the assumption that the Warriors are going to lock in this double front line, similar to what they did last game. Achilles finding a ton of value into that, and that's exactly what they do. Almost playing into that draft, super televised, and honestly almost predicted. Achilles going to find a ton of value into this.
The Baba Yaga response to that is kind of interesting to me.
How so? The knockup immunity and dash. You can go. Your passing to be able to stack cloak. I think Baba does a ton. Good range poke, able to stack with my passive cloak. Alternate timeline. I actually don't mind going to Baba Yaga into this at all.
I think the big thing was Thor. If Thor gets on top of you, he's going to kill you in the late game, and I think it's really hard for that character to get away from Thor. Because he has knockup immunity for the house, he can stun your dash. It's going to be hard for Baba Yaga to live, I think, in this game, depending on what they go last.
Yep. I mean, I'm assuming on the side of the Warriors, I'm going to see a mage, right? You could go an ADC or more so maybe even a double or triple dive with a double assassin guardian and allow Bacchus to be the source of the magical damage. I'm assuming it's going to be a mage though, capitalizing off the flop and the Thor rail combo. I want to see what I'm more interested in seeing how the draft actually shapes on the side of Michek, right? What they elect to pick here should tell me a lot. Do they go traditional? Do they go that double front line and double front line? How do they actually play this?
I like the Morgan Le Fay too, because I think the Thor will need a little bit of help to kill the Baba Yaga
Yeah.
in fights, and Morgan Le Fay out could be that difference for him.
I am actually surprised, and notable, obviously Splitfire pointed out, Hachi is left wide open. There is no way. Okay, well, I would completely everything out the window. Michek electing to go this Yamoja. Now, notable, Yamoja's going to feel really good into this LeFay. I'm not thrilled outside of that. Yamoja's best abilities being her 2, if not her 3. The change, I love Yamoja. The 3 obviously moved from 6 seconds to the 3 seconds that it is now. Could find a ton of value into this LeFay, notably the positioning. I'm not thrilled into a double dive without an AC. Like, this team just feels super tanky, though, with healing. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait to see how this actually played out. Going into match number 2 of set number 2 of the day. Hey, admins, if you do me a favor, any of you guys are listening, for match number 3 of today that starts at 10 p.m. EST, can you actually ask them to delay it so I can watch it live directly after this game? Please and thank you. I would appreciate that request if possible to be made. They need a delay anyways? Okay. How long was that delay, Nat? Out of curiosity. 1 hour. Oh! A full hour, JK. Maybe you tell them to hurry up. No! Time to get their shit together, Nat. Oh, no. What the fuck? Alright. I'm really interested to see how... this is match number 2, game number 2 of this set. So they are 1-0 up, aka Michek 1-0 up here.
Will say I do think that I like Meat Check's draft more this game than the red teams.
Okay. How do you
Because
how
I
do you
don't
think
think
the emoji
Bacchus
plays a
does.
part?
Umoja is a counter pick to the Morgan Le Fay,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
just because the wall. The big thing is their mid fight. Like the fights are gonna be really strange for blue team if they can't find an execute pretty quickly in the fight, I think.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
am excited to see how this emoji facilitates this game. How it tends to be played. I'm just not thrilled at the fact until you get itemization, it's gonna feel miserable into this Warriors roster. I will say we are very alt-centric once again. However, like you said, composition a little flipped. Warriors were the alt-centric. Now we're going to go more toward meat check. Alt-centric, I'm saying that out of having Baba or Yamoja alt, and Achilles for that execution under that double dive. Maybe not as alt-centric as the first game. A big flop in by this Bacchus. Going for a triple flop followed by the rail. Just not enough damage, though. Now Yamoja applying the one for the slow. They are in a world of hurt. Shell force. Thor now the target. Aegis immediately used. Slow by the Le Fay. Big slow. Allowing that kiting out. Making sure no one else is dropped. Really good one by the Yamoja. Slowing the team down. Allowing the team to get on top. Getting that Achilles shield bash. Forcing Aegis and Shell by the Warriors. Fabduel meat check won game number 1. As far as set number 1, the Sages won set number 1 of the day. I'm really interested to see how fights actually turn out when 5s take over and how they actually elect to play this. Thor notably going into a Runeforge Hammer, first item. This meat check roster is going to be hella tanky once itemization is actually received on this double Thebes. And I'm assuming a cloak will probably be second, if not third item. Thank you, Nat, for answering that. A big 3 by the Emoja. 3 alt. Ultimates are used. This should be an execute and should spell the death, and it is. Second kill put on the Achilles, giving him a bit of a lead here. I'm not saying that name, Nat. Oh, that's crazy. It's funny I allowed it as a banner, but I'm not saying that out loud. Red obviously picked up by Warriors as a consolation prize to a second kill going onto this Achilles. I'm really interested. I want to see a few damage items picked up on this Achilles. However, obviously going to find most of his value via the execute, so maybe the damage is not even necessary. Bach is hovering around. Nothing is wrong with it, Lizzie. Nothing at all. You're not wrong. Mojo 1, a little buggy as far as animation there. Thor rail trying to trap the Achilles, get some damage on. Yamoja healing, all the way through her team. Popping the 2, providing that shielding and healing. I know. It's kind of counterintuitive, isn't it? A big shield bash is not enough damage. Thor ult a little off the mark, but as the damage fall up there, Bacchus flopping in. Not enough damage on either part. Thor hammer off the mark. Silence now on top of the Thor. Both teams walking away with a sliver of health. Unfortunate. Just not enough damage. Waiting on itemization. Pro blue buff picked up. Notably, game state pretty even with the 2 kills onto this Achilles. Runeforge Glyph immediately opted in for.
I would also like to see an erosion from the Bacchus this game pretty early, I think, with the Baba and Umoja shielding.
Yep. Umoja shielding coming from her 2, Baba from her house. Immediately going into that cloak, obviously stacking that with a passive, prophetic. It's going to be an incredibly tanky roster on the side of Meat Shack. The tankiness, the shielding off the 2, Baba house, like this is going to be a lot to get through. Not to mention, more often than not, the trade's going to favor Meat Shack with that execution into that double dive once Leaf's hammer on Thor's part or flop by the Bacchus is down. Rail a little off the mark, hammer connecting to stop Achilles back. Bacchus is now here. Coin picked up by the Lefay. Notably, just looking for the item stats. Phantom Shell already elected for on this Bacchus. Obviously, to get through the Umoja walls or give that Lefay some of that survivability. Bacchus flopping in. Possible to spell the end, right? Little poke, horn shard pop, make sure he can escape. A horrific used. That should be a double stun. Just at kill execution threshold. Just enough damage. Almost too early.
I think the big thing there is the Bacchus pathing away from his team. If he paths to his team there, I think he's completely fine, but he isolates himself.
Yeah, heading the pathing here versus pathing back. Yeah, the pathing, even popping horn shard, getting horrific, pathing on blue, even if you path, I don't know. I agree. It should have been a pathing back to T1 for sure.
Yeah, if you walk through your team, you always have the threat of them turning damage around on somebody, right? So it makes people not want to try to dive you.
Or a possible Thor rail, you know what I mean? Like getting some value or something. Fearless, anything to get him off, create some of that separation, return of damage, possible trade, all of it. So notable, this Achilles getting an obscene amount of value. 3 kills onto this Achilles. Shogun's elected for. The auto attack cancels. Obviously, typically you see a Shogun's when an ADC is on that team. The auto attack canceling being probably the most important part of Achilles on top of the execute, right? Going to that Shogun's, trying to expedite some of that. And you're playing into a double magical, so that was just the pickup here. Notable, a Sentry Ward is picked up by this Umoja. I wonder, are they trying to facilitate an early bull pickup here?
Could be it. Umoja has her 30% CDR online, which makes her fights a lot easier. Takes that ult cooldown down quite a hefty amount.
Looks like a Pride 1 second. Surely this isn't a Cloak second item, right? Maybe a possible misplay by Thor going Runeforge into a Cloak second.
It looks
Maybe
like
a bubble.
he's going a little bit more of the hybrid approach, so it's definitely possible. I'm not a huge fan of it though, because I think
If you're gonna stack it first item.
yeah, I would have also liked to see the Thor go more damage this game than anything, because I think it's going to be really difficult now for him to get through the Baba Yaga.
Yeah, the tankiness, yeah. Big flop in, decent damage. Achilles wrapped, beads forced on this Lefay. Achilles put in a ton of work, half healthing the Lefay single-handedly. Big stun flop again. Thor is up. This should spell the all-in. Achilles looking for the all-in himself. Just enough damage. Good kiting by the Lefay. Make sure the execute isn't there. Thor not enough damage. Kiting back in. Umoja hovering, trying to get the 3. Gives the Achilles the 3. Really good usage. Alt, creating some of that separation. Shell now used. Phantom Shell. Big shield bash. Achilles alt used to escape. Good CC immunity. Should spell him getting out. Really well played positionally. Umoja 3, stepping him out. Achilles alt just in time. Make sure Thor stun via the rail doesn't connect. This is game number 2, Ratify. I do agree, Prophetic Cloak was picked up. If he elected to go the Dirty Bubble, if you will, I think that's a really poor choice into the Umoja because she could proc it with her 3. I don't think that ever goes well doing that. So, interesting draft or itemization pathing or build passion, if you will. Dude, English is so hard. Going prophetic second to make that even more delayed. 10 minutes delay to even get that item online.
Yeah, I just don't know how later in the game red team is going to kill anybody.
I don't.
With
I think scaling items, I think you needed to go damage. I agree. Going more of that scaling build is only going to favor this execution. Or your Moja healing in general, right? Like, you need burst. The sustainability is going to be outfavored. Rail it off the mark. Play free. Just trying to poke down this Achilles. But this Achilles is getting so much value in poke. Not to mention the sustain. Even in the poke that this Lefay is getting onto this team, Yamoja just constantly sustaining it right back up, facilitating this Achilles to do a ton here. What do you think the win condition is, knowing that this Thor went for that bruiser build? What do you think the Warriors have to do to facilitate winning this game with that Achilles execute being present? That's tragic. He stole that with Shield Bash.
It looks like the Thor's going into more damage now, so I think killing the Baba for the time being is going to be almost impossible.
Mainly because the Lefay isn't able to step up ever. Shouldn't be able to.
Yeah. So they're gonna have to look to lock down somebody with the Morgan Lefay CC, but it's gonna be really hard, I think.
Yamoja stepping up to get this blue. Steals the Chester. Unfortunate, just not enough. Good Yamoja 3 to step back. Lefay just casting here. Baba just pathing on a base. Looks like we're going to go into a Hydras for the Thor. Big damage turned on by this Achilles. Thor has to be careful. Even with this tanky quote-unquote bruiser build he's running, he's going to be in execution range before long. Shogun's Arch Druid for this Achilles. I love this Lotus Sickle pickup by this Yamoja. Thor's going up. Going for this red. Should be a big fight here. Yamoja ulting the Lefay. Gets ulted by the Thor, creating some of that space and time. Baba then ulting, big double knock back.
Baba just takes no damage though.
Yeah, they are incredibly healthy. Warrior is worse for wear. All three ults used. Actually, I rephrased that. Achilles ult is still up. I would love to force this bull, and they are. I think this is really smart. You have the Achilles ult up. All ultimates are off the Warriors. Notably, neither team have second relic here. This is the Joust League, Realty. It's second week. A big combo onto this Thor. Able to get the hammer off. The Achilles is waiting on the other side. Uses all for CC immunity. The body blocks by this Bacchus. Exceptionally played to make sure execution. Even not able to connect. Able to close that gap. Allowing Achilles to get combo off on this onto that Thor. Really well played by the Bacchus. Honestly, that, in my opinion, a net win for the Warriors. Knowing that Bull wasn't able to be secured or picked up, but able to get their team out. Bacchus now the center of focus, going for that purple buff, getting a triple ult, but kind of here alone. Lefay just not pathing in, but a double burp, forcing beads onto this Baba. Lefay is kiting, getting the poke. The Bacchus did up down. Phantom Shell is used. He is there alone now. Lefay had pathing around. Unfortunately, with the pathing trying to go around, not able to get any cast. Bacchus up down and thinking his team was able to take that fight. Now picked himself. Notable, Baba Cloak is stacked due to her passive. Thor only 10 stacks in. Lefay ulting to clear wave. CC immunity used. Achilles, look how tanky that is, even with Yamoja too. or more specifically with Yemoja 2, able to tank that tower for what feels like an eternity. What do you think is going through these players' heads right now, Bolden?
I think the Thor build is really hurting them in these fights because like the Baba lives at like 30% health and then she just gets resustained and then they can't continue the fight anymore, right? The only reason I think that fight was even close is because the Morgan Le Fay did connect with the Baba.
Okay.
But I wouldn't rely on that happening very consistently.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think this is just a matter of time, especially the Emoji sustain. They don't have that burst like we mentioned. They're going to get out sustained. This Baba's going to be able to poke down the Le Fay. Look at one potion doing that much damage already. Right? I think it's notable. One of the big things we're not even talking about. Talk to me about this party punch on this Baba Yaga.
I don't really know a ton about it. I just know it does more damage, right? It's like the jungler starter for Conquest. It just gives you a little bit of burst. I'm personally more a fan of the
oh no,
the bow one, but
the Thor Achilles all off the mark. Thor able to walk out for free. Yemoja 3 just saving her life. Really well played. How that Thor actually gets out. Thor is going into ult. Not able to connect. Thor rail used. Baba ult in response. Gotta be careful. Le Fay is not on the other side of this. Stun connecting. Yemoja 2 sustaining this fight back up. This could turn completely around here momentarily if this fight goes on. Yemoja doing a ton here with the sustain back up. All ultimates are down. I don't know how that Thor made it out of that fight. Achilles obviously missing execute. Yemoja missing that one. Like just a grouping of missed abilities. Unfortunately, getting him out for free, then blinking away. Yeah, but obviously for those that don't know, just an interesting pickup for me for the Baba, the party punch, looking for that units traveled or distance traveled, if you will. Giving that a little bit of that extra damage. It's an interesting concept. I guess maybe this Baba, aka Nat, is cooking something I'm not used to seeing. Able to travel some of that distance and find a big cast onto this enemy team. Guess I need to go back to school.
a lot of SPL players are actually building that in mid now. Over
Well,
Bow.
to be fair, Conquest is a little different as far as Pathy, right? Yemoja notably call out here. She should have another 3 and does. Bacchus on their side. Fearless off the mark. Le Fay ult. That she actually gets out. 2 ultimates used. Now the counter engage is online. Le Fay ultimate or both relics are used. Achilles waiting for execute. Connecting. Thor is up and ult. I don't think they have kill potential without that Le Fay. Went from bad to worse, going for that all-in on the Yemoja, and Yemoja just able to 3 away, allowing the Baba Achilles to counter-engage with that Le Fay being out of position, trying to go for that extension. Achilles putting in a ton of work with these executions, the pressure on that alone. Obviously going first pick, finding a ton of value with it. Serrated Hydras. I don't know how I feel about the build, let alone its pathing. Only what I think is interesting and equally as notable, obviously the Le Fay having to go Aegis for the Achilles execute. Only 1 Phantom Shell into this Yemoja.
Yeah, that could come back to bite them too. That is a tough decision for Trill, right? To go between the two relics there. I think Aegis is probably the better option. But that does leave you susceptible when the Phantom Shell is down. I'd almost like to see a Relic Dagger come out from the Bacchus because Trill doesn't want to get the Phantom Shell, right? Because he needs the Aegis for Achilles Execute. So I'd like to see a Relic Dagger, I think,
For sure.
come out from him last item to make
Eric,
sure
instead
she's
of DMing me in chat or messaging in chat, please DM me on the side. Please and thank you. I deal with those issues on the side, not in chat. Why do thieves when they stack? Actually, notably, we were talking about this yesterday. Instead of going to double thieves because they don't stack, why not going like an aura, maybe a heart ward or a salve into a double fizz, etc. A different aura that would allow or play into their team comp a little bit better. I think itemization, just electing thieves being a good item, even though it doesn't stack individually on these characters, doing a ton regardless.
I think it's just the most cost-effective protection item in the game.
That's a big silence onto that Bacchus burp, making sure the killer doesn't get poked on any further. Worth noting, just the XP and even gold difference when you look at charts in favor of this meat check roster. Just a big lead here. We're just gotta be careful. He hammered in. Cthulhu in Joust, I think, can be decent. However, he's a big, beefy target. When you have an Execute on an Achilles or ADCs, they're able to chunk him down. I think he has a place, but he's situational, and there's better Guardians. I think it's the easiest way to win that. Answer that. Who won game one? Meat Check won game number one. This is game number two, and they currently have the lead. Yamoja able to secure that blue, but at what cost? Does she actually get out here for free? A lot is being invested to try to lock her down or punish her. Bacchus ult, Sprout. And she still walks away with a net win. Notably, she is going for that ultimate. Places the 3 at the end of the ultimate, forcing LaFay ult. Here comes a lot of that follow-up damage. Achilles looking for the execute. Should be able to connect. Doesn't even... Still waiting. Achilles did execute, even though animation didn't show there. Looking for the follow-up execute, assuming she gets enough damage down. Just not enough damage. Baba Potion connecting, confirming the death on the LaFay. That was a really, really well-timed Yamoja. 3 placed at the end, punishing the LaFay, forcing ult. Phantom Shell was down. Big flop, forcing Yamoja to take more aggro. Still just not enough. The Yamoja 2, even though she's drunk, able to kite around, hovering around more for healing, facilitating the team. Yamoja playing exceptionally well. Like I said, going this Fabulous Hoops into the Lotus Crown while still fucking me up. Yeah, I fucking hate you. Alright, got it out. Oh, Yamoja has done exceptionally well facilitating this roster. Ultimate, like full cast in general. And this meditation for the cooldowns. He's so hot shirtless, is crazy. Okay, money is a bit sus in chat. Wrong chat is crazy. Unfort. Obviously notable, Bacchus going a little bit damage at the tail end of build. Heartwort or Heart Seeker picked up at the tail end for Thor. I think it's interesting. Maybe a little tech that we're completely unaware of. Notably, the heavy Xe and Kins picked up by this Achilles again. What's your thought process on that? Obviously, he put a ton of work, probably game-changing in last game. The Hercules soloing the Persephone, getting a ton of value with this Achilles, and notably top damage, putting in a ton of work for this roster.
I think the heavy executioner is interesting, but if you're hitting squishies, I don't think Kins is your best option anymore. I actually don't hate the heavy XE in a lot of situations just because it is so much prot shred for you when you're trying to dive somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's probably better options than the Kins personally. It just seems to be like something that he really likes and it gives him some kill potential.
Big damage onto this Thor. Ultimate force. Achilles not able to execute because of timing. Inactive, how are you, buddy? I'm going to have to catch up to you in these numbers soon. Ultimate. One ultimate down on both teams. Emoji and Thor ultimates used. Michek just looking for a little bit of damage. Baba ulting for the Fearless on LaFay. Turning some of that damage back onto this LaFay. Getting some damage on Titan. Titan half health. Bacchus flopping in a big Fearless by this LaFay. Kiting in Heavenly and Aegis used. Achilles not able to close gap to get that execution. A big burp from the Bacchus. Michek having to disengage. Notably, still a net win for them considering Titan got half health. Bird is coming up to spawn, so we have to be really conscious getting that back off, trying to get either Bull or running it down with the next Fire Wave, trying to secure that Bird, making sure Titan doesn't heal. How they play the next 30 seconds to a minute should see if that was a net win for Michek. I miss us, Inactive says. Damn, he would. An Activation would never say that about me. Notably, Fire Wave was addressed, so regular wave being able to be shoved here. Titan for Warriors is healing, so the longer time elapses, the more of a net win from that fight turns into Warriors. Bacchus flops. Achilles is trying to 2v1 here. Putting in a ton of work. We're just going to heal that up. Should be a position toward Bull. By the time we actually get to Bird, I think Titan's actually be full healed for Warriors. Got to be a little conscious. Thor's going into ult a little early. No follow-up because Bacchus is nowhere near here. Having to ult in. He's got to be careful for the follow-up. Aegis immediately forced. He could be this target of an execution now. LaFay ulting. Able to secure the Bull Demon. Now, how does the disengage work? I would have liked to see the Thor rail a little. Actually, Covenant, the emoji ult probably worked in favor. Good LaFay 3 for the slow as well, making sure that an ultimate isn't able to cut off pathing. Able to steal Bull. Possibly a big turnaround for the Warriors. Titan's full health, stealing Bull from Michek. It's a net win in general. I think, honestly, in my opinion, the big difference being we just didn't press ultimates on the side of Michek. These games last forever. I mean, this set more specifically, I think, is what's lasting forever, mainly because of drafts. I think it might have gone a little quicker, assuming we did a full damage or dive here before alternate timeline. But because alternate timelines, you're going to have to. It's going to be a lot invested, and you got to take one fight, win that fight, and then work through timelines, relics, etc. I think it's just drafts.
I think Timeline is proving to be kind of a meta item here because I think it's really difficult to kill people through it without 2 damage characters, honestly.
Well, yeah, you got to deal with relics. You got to deal with typically CC me and alt, and then you have to work through timeline, and then after Tuesday with the extra health on respawn, you got to do it all again. Like, it just feels like a really rough situation in general. Now, the pathing here, they are crossing a ward. She's getting this. The emoji's getting poked down a ton. Almost half health. Trying to heal some of that back up. Should almost ticking over to level 20 for this Bacchus, going alternate timeline himself. Not quite there. Starter elected to be sold by the Thor, obviously being level 19. I don't know. I think comp-wise this favors so heavily Michek, right? You have the executions, you have a double alternate timeline, the Baba Yaga with Cloak, alternate timeline, ultimate. Like, there's so much to work through here on the Michek. A lot.
Yeah, I just don't know how you kill this Baba through the Yamoji utility. I just don't even know
There's too
like
much
how they
there.
want to fight it.
And
Yeah.
assuming you actually get a decent trade, that Achilles doesn't turn it around with execute for that extension, right? So Umoja just goofing off a little bit, three back, Baba,
I think
however,
if
three
I'm
in the wave.
I think if I'm the Warriors, you have to find a way to kill Achilles at this point. He's probably the easiest target.
With the heavy XE Kins should be target.
Yeah, I think he has to be. Because it's gonna be
And,
so hard to kill people with 2 timelines, right?
yep. Ultimate for ultimate. Phantom Shell I used as well. So alt and relic versus an alt. So net win for meat check. Typically, I would say an alt for an alt is going to favor the Lefay. Cooldowns being what it is. The Emoji alt is going to be a little longer. However, she did get the Phantom Shell, so I'm going to see that as a win. I agree. I would have liked to see an erosion, either on this Bacchus or the Thor versus itemization, especially with the healing from the 2, Fabulous Hoops, etc. I would have found an insane amount of value. Bacchus up, down. This is good timing on the Thor alt now. Yamoja is half health. Her alt is down. Bacchus electing to alt this Baba Yaga. We alted on top of Bull. Now secured by Meatcheck. How does that after engagement go? Thor Hammer got caught. Aegis is down. This should spell the end for him. And is. Just not enough damage to trade 1 for 1 on this Yamoja is going to mean a net win as they heal this up and kind of walk it down. That's just, I don't know. See, normally I would say just get on top of that Baba there, that big Emoji alt, knowing that Phantom Shell is down. A big stun by Bacchus, just not enough damage in turn by this Lefay. I think if that was a little different build on this Thor, I would have yelled at him to land on top of this Baba Yaga, and even assuming the Baba's going to force ultimate. Bird secured by Meatcheck. 16 seconds on a 2v3. Regular wave pushing in. Bob looks like the call is to damage Titan. Yamoja healing up to Baba. Baba full casting on top of Titan. Looking past the enemy team here. Decent damage. Yamoja 3'd away. Thor is up. Unable to catch the range. Catches just enough. Big turnaround. Yamoja 2ing through. Baba ulting. You gotta be careful. Achilles just hit ultimate. And a little bit of a lag spike on my end, but Bacchus obviously being the execute. Achilles ultimate cooldown. Just completely unlucky for Warriors on the counter engage.
Also, another thing to mention with Achilles being meta currently in Joust is that his execute does execute through timeline, which is very big at this point in the game.
Considering it's a double timeline, right? Because time is still up.
Yeah, it doesn't interact with timeline. It just kills you.
Yep.
Which I think genuinely wins them the game here.
Yep, it should. That should be GG. Yeah, and obviously notably, like you mentioned, the execution going through timeline, not even proccing it, so you're just dead. Turns it into a 2v3. Honestly, game-changing. Obviously, that chase down, getting bird, but that cooldown on the Achilles ult, Bacchus flopped in, getting bursted down just enough for the Achilles to execute and run it down.
Yeah, it makes their timelines have less value than theirs because, like, you saw the emojis procced at the end of the game there, and she's just fine.
Yep. Mm-mm.